Where is the bride? Where did the bride go? The wedding venue was in chaos, with over 300 guests exchanging bewildered glances. I, Claire, stood in the dressing room, looking at the message from Miles on my phone. Claire, there's an urgent matter at the company, the wedding is postponed, go home first. Postponed? I smiled bitterly. This was the third time. The first time was our engagement ceremony. He said he had to meet an important client. The second time was my father's funeral. He said he couldn't miss the company's IPO. Now, he could even ditch our wedding. Claire, what should we do? The guests outside are all waiting. My best friend Sophie was anxiously pacing. I took a deep breath, took off the wedding dress worth 100,000, and changed into a simple dress. Tell everyone, the wedding is cancelled. What? Are you crazy? I'm not crazy, I've finally woken up. I picked up my bag and was about to walk out. Sophie grabbed me. Claire, calm down. Miles is just busy with work, he loves you so much. Love me? I sneered. If he loved me, he wouldn't break his promise 3 times. If he loved me, he wouldn't make me lose face in front of 300 people. Pushing open the door, I walked straight to the wedding venue. All eyes were on me, some sympathetic, some curious, but most were gloating. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. I picked up the microphone, my voice unusually calm. I'm sorry to inform everyone that today's wedding is cancelled. The scene erupted in an uproar. Mr. Miles has an urgent matter and cannot attend. I also feel that a wedding with one person has no meaning. I looked at the familiar faces below the stage. Since everyone is here, treat it as attending my Claire's farewell to single life banquet. Whispers came from the crowd. This is so embarrassing. How could Miles do this? Probably has another woman. I turned a deaf ear and was about to step down when I saw an unexpected figure. Ethan. He was sitting in the last row, dressed in a suit, looking at me expressionlessly. This man, Miles' business rival, was the last person I wanted to see at a time like this. Our gazes met in the air. He slowly stood up and walked to the front of the stage. Miss Claire. His voice was deep and magnetic. Do you need help? The whole venue fell silent. Everyone knew that Ethan and Miles were like water and fire. His presence here was already strange, and now initiating conversation was even more baffling. No need. I replied coldly. What if I say I can help you get revenge on Miles? A playful smile curved his lips. I was stunned. What do you mean? Marry me. Those 4 words exploded like a bombshell, leaving the scene in stunned silence. I stared at him wide-eyed, doubting if I had heard correctly. Mr. Ethan, are you joking? I never joke. He took a step forward. Miss Claire, do you want to make Miles regret? Want to shut up those who are laughing at you? Want everyone to know that losing you is the biggest loss of Miles' life? His words slithered into my heart like a venomous snake. Yes, I do. I want to make Miles regret, want everyone to know that I, Claire, am not an unwanted woman. Why do you want to help me? I asked warily. Because Miles' pain is my pleasure. He sneered. Besides, you don't lose out. Marrying me is better than being Miles' abandoned woman. The guests below the stage began to stir. Some took out their phones to record, others started calling to spread the news. Looking at this suddenly appearing man, a crazy idea surged in my heart. Since Miles can disregard me, why can't I disregard him? Since he can make me lose face in front of everyone, why can't I let him taste the flavor of betrayal? Okay. I lifted my head, looking into Ethan's eyes. I agree. The scene instantly exploded. Ethan nodded satisfactorily, took out a small box from his suit inner pocket, opened it, and inside was a dazzling diamond ring. So, Miss Claire, are you willing to marry me? I extended my hand, watching him put the ring on my ring finger. The diamond ring was heavy, so heavy that my hand was slightly trembling. I do. Applause erupted, unsure if it was blessings or just spectating. I took a deep look at the astonished faces below the stage, then linked arms with Ethan. Miles, you forced me into this. At that moment, my phone vibrated frantically. It was Miles' call. I glanced at it, hung up directly, and then turned off the phone. Too late, everything was too late. The farce at the wedding venue quickly spread throughout high society. In less than half an hour, #ClaireFlashMarries Ethan rushed to the top of trending searches. Netizens were in an uproar, with various jokes and emojis flying everywhere. Young Master Miles is working overtime at the company, turns around and his wife is gone. This is the legendary person sitting at the company, wife coming from the sky. I sat in Ethan's Rolls-Royce, looking at the comments on my phone, with mixed feelings. Regret it? Ethan turned his head to look at me, his eyes scrutinizing. No. I put away my phone, I just didn't expect it to cause such a big sensation. You think marrying me is a small matter? He chuckled lightly, I am the rival Miles most wants to take down. The car stopped at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, and only then did I realize he was serious. Get the certificate now? Of course, strike while the iron is hot. Ethan pushed open the car door, or does Miss Claire want to back out? I gritted my teeth and followed him out of the car. There weren't many people in the Civil Affairs Bureau, the staff were somewhat surprised to see us. After all, Ethan's face often appeared in financial news, and I had just been watched online. Are you two here to register for marriage? The staff asked cautiously. Yes. Ethan handed over his ID and household registration book. I also took out my documents, my hand still slightly trembling. Half an hour later, we got the red booklet. Claire, now you are my wife. Congratulations. Ethan put away the marriage certificate, from now on, you are my wife. You won't really treat me as your wife, right? I couldn't help asking, this is just a transaction, right? He stopped, turned to look at me, Miss Claire, no, Mrs. Do you think I look like someone who jokes? His gaze was too profound, making me uneasy. Then what do you want? I don't have much to give you. What I want, you can give. He smiled meaningfully, let's go, meet your in-laws. What? Wait, you didn't discuss it with your family? My matters don't need discussion with anyone. Ethan opened the car door, but as the daughter-in-law, you have to meet the elders. The car headed to the Gu family old house. Along the way, my heart was in suspense. Impulsively getting married was crazy enough, and now meeting the in-laws, what was this situation? The Gu family old house was located in the prime area of the city center, with an enormous footprint. The antique architectural style exuded understated luxury everywhere. Young master is back. The butler respectfully greeted us. Where are Grandpa and Grandma? Ethan asked. In the back garden having tea. I followed Ethan to the back garden, my heart pounding like a drum. Harold was playing chess, Eleanor watching beside him, both were over 70, but spirited and vigorous. Grandpa, Grandma, I'm back. Ethan walked over. Ethan is back? Eleanor looked up, then saw me, this is my wife, Claire. Ethan introduced without hesitation. The chess piece in Harold's hand almost fell to the ground. Wife. When did this happen? This afternoon, just got the certificate. Ethan took out the marriage certificate. Grandma, weren't you always urging me to get married? Eleanor took the marriage certificate, looked at it carefully, then sized me up. Claire, right? How old are you? What does your family do? I was so nervous my palms were sweating. Hello Grandma, I'm 25 this year, my family. Her father passed away last year, mother is in the hometown, family background is average. Ethan answered for me, but she's a good person, I like her a lot. Eleanor frowned, why get married so hastily? We didn't even know. Because she was supposed to marry someone else today. Ethan said lightly, I snatched her over. What? I stared at him wide-eyed. Saying it like that wouldn't it cause the elders to misunderstand? Sure enough, Harold's face changed instantly, nonsense. What is this talk? Grandpa, don't be angry, this is how it happened. Ethan calmly recounted today's events, of course omitting the transaction part between us. You mean that kid Miles no-showed 3 times, and finally didn't even attend the wedding? Harold slapped the table in anger, truly ill-mannered. Yes, so I think Claire will be better off with me. Ethan held my hand, I'll take good care of her. His hand was large and warm, giving me a strange sense of security. Eleanor looked at our held hands, her face gradually softening. Child, you've been wronged. But since you've married Ethan, you're part of the Gu family. Thank you, Grandma. I said gratefully. That Miles is really blind. Harold snorted coldly, but it's good, it benefits our Ethan. Ethan smiled, Grandpa is right. At that moment, the butler hurried over. Young master, Miles is at the door seeking an audience, saying there's an urgent matter. My heart instantly rose to my throat. Miles is here. Ethan narrowed his eyes, let him in. Ethan. I looked at him nervously. Don't be afraid, I'm here. He gently stroked the back of my hand, let him see what regret looks like. 3 minutes later, Miles appeared in the garden. He was still wearing that custom suit, but his hair was disheveled, his eyes full of anxiety and anger. Claire. His first words upon seeing me were a roar, what on earth are you doing? I subconsciously leaned closer to Ethan. Ethan stood up, shielding me behind him. Mr. Miles, please watch your words. She is now my wife. Wife. Miles looked at me with red eyes. Claire, are you crazy? How could you marry him? Why can't I marry him? I suppressed the turmoil in my heart. Didn't you have an urgent matter? How do you have time to come find me now? Miles was suddenly speechless. Claire, I'm sorry, today there really was an urgent matter, the project had a big problem, Enough. I interrupted him. Miles, the first time at the engagement ceremony you didn't come, I forgave you. The second time at my dad's funeral you didn't come, I also forgave you. But today, you could even ditch our wedding, why should I forgive you again? I know I was wrong, but you can't marry someone else just to spite me. Miles was sweating profusely in anxiety, and it's Ethan. You know me and him. Precisely because I know, that's why I married him. I sneered, didn't you care a lot about work? Now it's good, your arch-rival has become your ex-girlfriend's husband, should be very interesting, right? Miles' face turned ashen, looking at Ethan, you did this on purpose? Ethan wrapped his arm around my waist, smiling, Mr. Miles is overthinking. I just married a woman I like. How long have you known each other? Miles questioned, Claire, has he been pursuing you all along? I was about to speak, but Ethan spoke first, Mr. Miles, do you think I need to rob a woman this way? Indeed, with Ethan's conditions, what kind of woman couldn't he find? Claire, come back with me, let's start over. Miles walked toward me, I promise I won't do this again. It's too late. I stepped back, Miles, we're over. No. I don't agree. He tried to grab my hand but was blocked by Ethan. Mr. Miles, please respect yourself. Ethan's voice became dangerous, she is my wife, not to be coveted by others. The two men confronted each other, the air filled with tension. Enough. Harold stood up tapping his cane, Miles, this is the Gu family, not a place for you to act wildly. Miles looked at Harold, then at Ethan, finally landing his gaze on me. Claire, I'll give you 3 days to calm down. After 3 days, if you still decide this, I'll let go completely. With that, he turned and left. Watching his back, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. Known for 6 years, in love for 4, and in the end, it ended like this. Claire, don't be sad. Eleanor came over and patted my shoulder, if men were reliable, sows would climb trees. Ethan is a bit cold usually, but his character is good. Grandma is right. Ethan smiled, I'll treat her well. That's good. Harold sat back down, since you're married, live well. Ethan, tomorrow take Claire to the company, let everyone get to know her. My heart jumped. Go to the company? Wouldn't that mean publicizing our relationship? Okay, Grandpa. Ethan agreed readily. After dinner, Ethan took me back to his villa. The villa was large, decorated simply and elegantly, reflecting the owner's taste everywhere. Your room is on the second floor, mine on the third. Ethan introduced, if you need anything, find Linda. Linda? The aunt at home, responsible for cooking and cleaning. I nodded, finally relieved. It seemed he had no intention of doing anything to me. Mr. Ethan. Call me Ethan. He interrupted me, at least in front of outsiders, we have to act like a real couple. Okay, Ethan. I was a bit uncomfortable. I want to ask about our marriage. What? Want to ask about the agreement's content? He raised an eyebrow. It's simple, you cooperate with me in acting, I give you the life you want. As for the rest. He paused, depends on the mood. Depends on the mood? What does that mean? I have the right to know the specific content, right? I asked. Of course. Ethan walked to the study, follow me. The study was large, with an entire wall of bookshelves. Ethan took a document from the drawer and handed it to me. This is the prenuptial agreement, although a bit late, but what's needed is still there. I took the document and looked at it carefully. The agreement was simple, the marriage lasts 2 years, after which we can choose to divorce or continue. During this period, I need to cooperate with him in attending various occasions, acting like a real couple. He gives me 100,000 monthly living expenses, plus a house and a car. If we divorce after 2 years, I get 10 million as breakup fee. Isn't it too much? I somewhat couldn't believe it. Not much for me. Ethan said lightly, besides, you deserve it. Looking at this agreement, my mood was complex. 10 million, that's money I couldn't earn in a lifetime. If I want to divorce midway? Anytime, but the breakup fee will be reduced accordingly. What if real feelings develop between us? I mustered the courage to ask. Ethan paused, something flashed in his eyes, but he quickly regained composure. Then it depends on the situation. This answer was vague, but I couldn't pursue further. I need to think about it. Of course, you have one night. Ethan stood up, it's getting late, rest early. Tomorrow we go to the company. I nodded, took the agreement back to the room. The room was large, decorated warmly, obviously carefully arranged. On the bedside table was a bunch of lilies, with a fresh and elegant fragrance. I lay on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. My mind kept replaying everything that happened today. From morning's anticipation, to noon's despair, to afternoon's madness, it felt like a dream. The phone vibrated, it was a message from Sophie. Claire, are you okay? Today's events were too sudden, have you really thought it through? I thought about it and replied, I'm fine, don't worry. But do you know this Ethan? He and Miles are arch enemies, isn't this too impulsive? Maybe being impulsive once isn't bad. I typed, at least I won't regret it. Do you really not regret? Sophie asked again. I looked at the ceiling, thinking of Miles' performance today, his 3 no-shows, him making me lose face in front of 300 people. No regrets. I replied firmly. Just after sending, the phone rang again. This time an unknown number. Hello? Claire, it's me. Miles' voice came from the receiver. I was stunned, how do you have this number? Sophie gave it to me. His voice was tired, Claire, can we meet and talk? Nothing to talk about. There is. Miles stubbornly said, I was wrong today, but you can't ruin your life just to spite me. I didn't ruin myself. I sneered, Miles, you ruined our relationship first. I know, I admit I was wrong. His voice choked, but Claire, you can't marry Ethan. He's very scheming, you can't handle him. That's not your concern. Claire. Miles suddenly raised his voice, do you know why Ethan married you? He just wants to anger me. You're just his tool for revenge. These words stabbed my heart like a knife. Although I knew this early on, hearing it from Miles still hurt. So what? I pretended to be calm. At least he's willing to marry me, while you weren't even willing to attend the wedding. Miles was speechless. Miles, we're over. I said, don't contact me anymore. With that, I hung up and blocked the number. Lying back on the bed, I closed my eyes, forcing myself not to think about these. Anyway, I've made my choice, I can't regret it. The next morning, I was woken by the alarm. Checking the time, exactly 7. After washing up, I went downstairs for breakfast. Ethan was already at the dining table, reading financial news. Good morning. He looked up at me. How did you sleep? Okay. I sat opposite him. Linda served breakfast, very abundant, with porridge, buns, and side dishes. How's the agreement consideration? Ethan asked while eating. I took out the agreement and placed it on the table. I agree. Ethan narrowed his eyes. Sure? Sure. I nodded, but I have one request. Say it. If one day I want to leave, you can't stop me. Ethan looked at me for a long time, then nodded, okay. After breakfast, we went out together. Ethan's car was still that Rolls-Royce, low-key luxurious. Nervous? He asked. A bit. I told the truth. Don't be nervous, it's just a formality. Ethan comforted me. My employees are easy to talk to. The headquarters building of GU Group is located in the city's central CBD, a 48-story glass curtain wall glittering in the sunlight. Entering the building, everyone respectfully greeted Ethan. Good morning, Ethan. Hello, Ethan. Ethan nodded in response one by one, then led me to the private elevator. Ethan. In the elevator, a young female secretary cautiously asked, This is my wife, Claire. Ethan naturally introduced. In the future, call her Mrs. Ethan. The secretary was obviously stunned, then respectfully said, Hello, madam. Hello. I nodded in response. The elevator reached the top floor. This was Ethan's office. The office was large, simply decorated, with huge floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. This is where I usually work. Ethan introduced. If bored, you can go to the cafe downstairs. At that moment, the office door was pushed open, and a beauty in professional attire walked in. Ethan, I heard yesterday you. She stopped mid-sentence upon seeing me. This is my wife. Ethan walked over. Claire, this is my business partner, Serena. Serena? I remembered, she is the heiress of Lynn Group, also often mentioned in media as Ethan's rumored girlfriend. Hello, Miss Serena. I proactively extended my hand. Serena looked at me, then at Ethan, her face somewhat ugly. Ethan, I need to talk to you alone. Whatever you have to say it in front of Claire. Ethan said lightly, she's my wife, nothing to avoid. Serena's face looked even worse. Wife? When did you get married? Yesterday. Ethan took out the marriage certificate. Just got it. Serena took the marriage certificate, her face instantly turning pale. Why? She looked at Ethan, eyes full of confusion and anger. Didn't we agree? Agreed on what? I keenly sensed there was something between them, but Ethan's expression remained calm. Serena, I never promised you anything. But you said, if getting married, you would definitely consider me. Serena was almost roaring. I considered. Ethan said indifferently, but I chose Claire. Serena glared at me, the hatred in her eyes undisguised. It's her? The woman abandoned by Miles yesterday? These words were harsh. I couldn't help retorting, Miss Serena, please watch your words. Did I say wrong? Serena sneered, weren't you dumped by Miles, then seduced Ethan? Enough. Ethan suddenly raised his voice, Serena, you're going too far. Serena was stunned, obviously not expecting Ethan to get angry for me. Ethan, you've changed. Her eyes teared up. For a woman, you actually yelled at me. With that, she turned and left, glancing back at me at the door, eyes full of threat. The office quieted down. "Sorry," Ethan said, "made you wronged." "It's okay." I pretended to be calm. She wasn't wrong, I was indeed abandoned by Miles. "She has no right to say that about you." Ethan came over. "Claire, remember, you are now Mrs. Ethan, no one can humiliate you." Looking at his serious expression, a warmth surged in my heart. Perhaps marrying him really wasn't a wrong decision. Serena's words were like a thorn in my heart. Although Ethan comforted me, I still felt uncomfortable. "Claire." Ethan walked to the desk. "Do you want to go home and rest first? I have several meetings in the afternoon. I want to visit my mom." I said, "She doesn't know about my marriage yet." "Okay, I'll have the driver take you." "No need, I'll drive myself." Ethan took a set of keys from the drawer and handed them to me. "This is your car key, a white Maserati, parked in underground garage B area spot 18. I took the keys, somewhat incredulous. "Prepared so quickly?" "Arranged last night." Ethan said lightly, "Since you're my wife, the due treatment can't be less." My heart had mixed feelings. This man was truly meticulous, thinking of even such details. After going downstairs, I found the white Maserati in the underground garage. The car was very new, probably just bought. From the city to the town where my mom lives takes 2 hours by car. Along the way, I kept thinking how to explain this to Mom. Mom lives in a quiet small town. After Dad passed away, she moved there for retirement. The house isn't big, but cozy. "Claire?" Mom opened the door and saw me, very surprised. "Why did you suddenly come back? Isn't today your wedding?" My heart tightened suddenly. "Mom, I have something to tell you." "What is it? So serious?" "Mom, let me in. Where's Miles? Why didn't he come with you?" I sat on the sofa, took a deep breath. "Mom, Miles and I broke up." "What?" Mom's eyes widened. "How did you suddenly break up?" "It was fine yesterday." I detailed today's events, of course omitting the transaction with Ethan. "You mean Miles didn't even attend the wedding, then you married someone else?" Mom still couldn't believe it. "Yes." I took out the marriage certificate for her to see. "This is Ethan, president of GU Group." Mom took the marriage certificate and looked carefully, then at Ethan in the photo. "This person looks very cold." "He's okay," I said, "at least more reliable than Miles." "But Claire, this is too impulsive." Mom was worried. "How long have you known each other to get married?" "Mom, I know it's impulsive, but I don't regret it." I held Mom's hand. "Miles disappointed me too many times. I don't want to give him another chance to hurt me." Mom sighed. "Since you've decided, Mom can only support you." "But..." She paused. "Are you sure this Ethan is sincere?" This question left me speechless. Sincere? Between us it's just a transaction, where's the sincerity? "Mom, feelings can be cultivated slowly." I forced a smile. "At least now he's good to me." "That's good." Mom touched my head. "My daughter is so good, any man marrying you is lucky." Had lunch at Mom's. I prepared to return to the city. "Claire, bring your new son-in-law to see me." Mom said, "I want to see what kind of person he is." "Okay, this weekend I'll bring him." On the drive back to the city, I kept thinking about Serena's words. She said they had agreed on something. Did they really have a relationship before? Thinking of this, I couldn't help calling Sophie. "Claire? Are you okay?" Sophie's voice was worried. "I'm fine." "Sophie, help me check Ethan and Serena's relationship." "Serena? The one from Lynn Group?" "Sophie works in a media company, well informed. Isn't she the rumored girlfriend of Ethan?" "Rumored?" "Yes, they often appear together at various occasions. Media says they're a match made in heaven. But never officially announced." Sophie paused. "Why are you asking this?" "Saw her today, felt she's very hostile to me." Of course, her boyfriend suddenly married someone else, how could she not be hostile? Sophie said, but Claire, be careful. Serena has many tricks, not easy to provoke. After hanging up, my mood was heavier. It seems this marriage is more complex than I imagined. Back at the villa, it was already 5 in the afternoon. Ethan hadn't returned, only Linda was preparing dinner. Madam is back? Linda greeted me smiling. Mr. Ethan said he might be late tonight, have you eat first? Okay, thank you Linda. I returned to the room, lay on the bed in a daze. The phone rang, it was a WeChat message. Mrs. Ethan, first meeting, hope we can get along well. Serena. I frowned, replied, hello. Soon, she sent another message. Available tomorrow afternoon? Let's meet and chat. Chat about what? I thought, replied, okay. Then tomorrow afternoon at 3, Blue Sky Cafe in the city center. Okay. Putting down the phone, I had an ominous premonition. Serena asking to meet definitely isn't good. But I also want to know what exactly is between her and Ethan. At 8 in the evening, Ethan returned. He looked tired, suit jacket draped over his arm. Sorry, back late. He walked to the dining room, have you eaten? Yes. I followed him to sit, Linda left food for you. Thanks. Watching him eat, I hesitated, still asked, Ethan, you and Serena, what is your relationship? Ethan's chopsticks paused, then continued eating. Business partners. Just that? What do you want to hear? He put down the chopsticks looking at me, you are my wife, this identity is enough. His words were vague, obviously not wanting to say more. She asked me to meet tomorrow. I said. Ethan frowned, what does she want? Don't know, but I want to go see. Are you sure? Ethan looked at me, Serena has complicated methods. I know. I said firmly, but I want to know what she has to say. Ethan was silent for a while, then nodded, okay, but remember, no matter what she says, you are my wife. This, no one can change. His words warmed my heart. I know. The next afternoon, I arrived at Blue Sky Cafe on time. Serena was already waiting, wearing a beige suit, elegant and proper. Miss Claire, please sit. She greeted me smiling. Miss Serena. I sat opposite her. About yesterday, I apologize to you. Serena said, I was too excited, said things I shouldn't. It's okay. I replied lightly, I don't know what Miss Serena wants with me today. Serena sipped her coffee, then stared into my eyes. I want to talk about Ethan. What's there to talk about? Miss Claire, we're both smart, no need to beat around the bush. Serena put down the cup, your marriage with Ethan is just a transaction, right? My heart shook, but I remained composed, I don't understand what you mean. You were abandoned by Miles, and Ethan wanted to revenge Miles, so you hit it off. Serena sneered, Miss Claire, do you really think Ethan will fall in love with you? These words stabbed my heart, but I pretended to be calm. This is between him and me, none of your business. Of course it's related. Serena leaned toward me, because the one Ethan loves is me. The one Ethan loves is me. Serena's words echoed in the cafe, my heart tightened suddenly. Is that so? I tried to stay calm, if he loves you, why marry me? Because he's sulking. A trace of pride flashed in Serena's eyes, we've known each other for 8 years, together since university. Last year my father arranged a marriage for me, I agreed for family interests. Ethan was angry, said he wanted to make me regret. She paused, looking at my expression. So, you're just his tool to anger me. My hand tightly gripped the coffee cup, trying not to show my emotions. So what? I sneered, now he's my husband, that's a fact. But how long can this last? Serena smiled contemptuously, when he's vented enough, do you think you can still hold the position of Mrs. Ethan? That's not your concern. I stood up, if Miss Serena has nothing else, I'll leave first. Wait. Serena called me, took out a check from her bag, here's 10 million, as long as you initiate divorce, this money is yours. Looking at the check, I sneered, Miss Serena, do you think I lack money? Don't lack money? Serena sized me up, an ordinary employee, average family, father passed away leaving a pile of debts, and you tell me you don't lack money? The information in her words shocked me. She investigated me? It seems Miss Serena knows me well. I sat back down. In that case, do you think 10 million can dismiss me? Serena frowned. How much do you want? What I want, you can't give. I looked at her. Miss Serena, if Ethan really loved you, he would have married you long ago. 8 years of feelings couldn't keep a man's heart. What do you think that says? Serena's face instantly turned livid. What do you mean? Nothing. I stood up. Just think, instead of threatening me here, better reflect on what you did wrong. With that, I turned and left, leaving Serena sitting there alone. Walking out of the cafe, my legs felt weak. The conversation had drained too much energy, but I couldn't show weakness in front of her. Back in the car, I leaned on the driver's seat and took deep breaths. Serena's words kept echoing in my mind. Ethan loves her, and I'm just his tool for revenge. Although I knew this, hearing it from someone else still hurt. The phone rang. It was Ethan. Finished meeting? His voice was calm. What did she say? I hesitated. Nothing, just chatted. The other side was silent for a few seconds. Claire, no matter what she said, don't take it to heart. I know. I tried to sound normal. When are you coming home? Now. Hung up, I drove back to the villa. Ethan's car was parked in the yard. He should be back. Pushing open the door, I saw him on the living room sofa, holding a document. Back? He looked up at me. Why do you look so bad? Probably tired. I sat beside him. Why back so early? Worried about you. Ethan put down the document. What did Serena say? I looked into his eyes, trying to see something, but his expression was too calm. She told me to leave you. I decided to tell the truth, and gave me a 10 million check. Ethan's eyes became dangerous. She dares? I didn't take it. I said, but she said some things that confused me. What words? She said you've known each other for 8 years, together since university. She said you love her, marrying me just to anger her. Ethan was silent for a long time, so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Some things aren't as you imagine. He finally spoke. Serena and I did have a relationship. But that's all in the past. Past? I smiled bitterly, but she said you marrying me now is just sulking. Claire. Ethan turned to face me. I married you, indeed, with revenge on Miles. But. He paused, something I couldn't understand flashed in his eyes. But I don't regret it. Why? I couldn't help asking, why no regret? Ethan looked at me, extended his hand to gently stroke my cheek. Because you're more interesting than I imagined. More interesting? What kind of answer is that? Ethan, I want the truth. I looked at him seriously. What exactly happened between you and Serena? Why is she so sure you'll return to her? Ethan withdrew his hand, leaned on the sofa back. Since you want to know, I'll tell you. His voice was tired. Serena and I did love each other, very deeply. I thought we'd marry, live together forever. My heart sank to the bottom. But last year, for family interests, she chose to get engaged to someone else. Ethan's voice became cold. She said she loved me, but couldn't defy her father's will. Then I gave up. Ethan looked at me. Claire, I'm a proud person. Betrayed once, no second chance. Now? I asked, if she cancels that engagement, would you reconsider? Ethan was silent long. No. He finally said, past is past. Hearing this, complex emotions surged in my heart. Loss, relief, and some indescribable feelings. What about me? I mustered courage to ask, in your heart, am I just a revenge tool? Ethan looked at me, emotions deepening in his eyes. At first, yes. He admitted, but now. Now what? He didn't answer, but suddenly leaned in, kissing my lips. The kiss was very light, like a feather. But it made my heart beat fast. When parting, his voice was hoarse. Now, I think you are my wife. I looked into his eyes, mixed feelings. Is this love? Or just habit? Ethan. I was about to speak, his phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the caller ID, face becoming serious. Miles? I saw the name on the screen. Ethan answered. Miles, what's up? From the other side came Miles' angry voice, though unclear, I could feel his agitation. I know. Ethan said lightly, but this is market competition, Miles should understand. He hung up, a cold smile on his face. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing, a small matter. Ethan stood up. I'll go to the study to handle some work. Watching his back, an ominous premonition surged in my heart. Why did Miles suddenly call him? And sounded angry? Could their business war have started? And would I be involved? Thinking this, I shivered. Perhaps this marriage is more dangerous than I imagined. The next morning, I saw news online. Jiang Group loses $1 million deal, suspected malicious competition. The news said a project Jiang Group had nearly secured was suddenly snatched by another company, huge loss. Though not specifying which company, comments guessed Gu Group did it. My heart sank. No wonder Miles called Ethan angrily last night. Madam, Mr. Ethan asked me to tell you he has important meetings today, might return late. Linda notified me. I know. The whole morning I was restless. In the afternoon, Sophie called. Claire, are you okay? There are bad rumors online. What rumors? Some say you married Ethan to revenge Miles, and you're teaming to bankrupt Jiang Group. Sophie's voice was worried. These words are ugly. I opened the news, indeed saw the topic. Ethan's wife teams with husband to revenge ex-boyfriend, clicking in, full of vicious comments, saying I'm scheming, married Ethan for money. Worse, someone dug up my personal info, including my father's debts. How do these people know such details? I said angrily. Definitely someone deliberately leaked. Sophie said, Claire, be careful. Public opinion is against you now. Hung up, I got angrier thinking. Such detailed info, definitely not random guesses. Someone deliberately leaked. Who? Serena? Thinking of her knowledge of my situation yesterday, likely her. At that moment, doorbell rang. I opened the door, unexpectedly Miles outside. He looked haggard, eyes full of fatigue and anger. You dare come? I said coldly. Claire, we need to talk. Miles said, about Ethan. Nothing to talk with you. I tried to close the door, but he blocked it. Claire, Ethan is using you. Miles said urgently, he married you to revenge me, don't be foolish. Even if so, so what? I sneered, at least he married me, unlike some who didn't attend the wedding. I know I was wrong. Miles grabbed my hand. Claire, I really know now. These days I thought a lot, without you I can't live. Too late. I shook off his hand hard. Miles, we're over. Not over. Miles said excitedly, your marriage isn't legal. I checked, on the wedding day you were intoxicated, such marriage can be revoked. What? I stared wide-eyed. Though I drank, I was conscious. How illegal? What nonsense. Not nonsense. Miles took out a document. This is lawyer's opinion. If you cooperate, we can apply to revoke this marriage. Looking at the document, panic surged. If revoked, I'd have nothing? Miles, are you crazy? I angrily said, my affairs don't need your management. It's for your good. Miles sweated. Ethan is ruthless, following him won't end well. That's not your concern. A cold voice came from behind. I turned. Ethan had returned unnoticed, standing at the door watching. His face ugly, eyes dangerous. Ethan. Miles saw him, immediately angry. You despicable villain. Despicable? Ethan sneered. Miles, this word fits you better. You deliberately snatched my project, married my woman. Who is despicable? Your woman? Ethan came over, arm around my waist. Miles, Claire is now my wife. Watch your words. Miles looked at our intimacy, eyes full of pain. Claire, please, come back with me. He begged. I promise never to disappoint you again. Miles. Ethan's voice colder. Please leave my home, don't harass my wife again. This isn't your home. Miles exploded. This should be Claire and my home. Saying, he rushed, but Ethan blocked. The two confronted, air tense. Enough. I stopped loudly. Don't quarrel here. Miles looked at me, eyes desperate. Claire, do you really choose him? I looked at Ethan, then Miles, mixed feelings. Miles, I've chosen. I finally said, please respect my decision. Miles' face paled, looked at us, said nothing, turned and left. Watching his back, complex emotions surged. Still pity him? Ethan noticed my change. No. I denied, just feel, forget it, not saying. Claire. Ethan turned to face me, if you regret, it's still time. I was stunned, what mean? If you want to go with him, I won't stop. Ethan's voice calm, but I felt the tension. Looking into his eyes, I suddenly understood. You're testing me? Ethan didn't answer, but his eyes did. Ethan. I walked to him. I won't regret. Why? He asked. Clearly you still love him. I loved the past him, not now. I said seriously, and, I'm already your wife. Ethan looked at me, emotions complex. Even if our marriage is just a transaction? Even if just transaction. I said firmly, but since signed contract, I'll fulfill to the end. Ethan suddenly smiled, from the heart. Claire, do you know? He stroked my cheek, I like you more and more. Like? My heart beat faster. Just like? I boldly asked. Ethan gazed at me, long no speak. When I thought no answer, he suddenly leaned and kissed me. This kiss not light like last, but with strong possessiveness. My heart beat fast, almost out of chest. Parting, he against my forehead, hoarse, not just like. Looking at his deep eyes, suddenly felt this marriage maybe not just transaction. Perhaps real feelings possible between us. But then, Ethan's phone rang again. He frowned, answered. What? His face serious, I know, going now. Hung up, he looked at me, eyes apologetic. Claire, company issue, need to handle now. What issue? I worried. Nothing big. He kissed my forehead, rest early, I might be late. Watching his hasty back, ominous premonition. Related to Miles? Thinking of Miles' words, more worried. This business war, how far will it go? Will I be a sacrifice? Ethan didn't return all night. Next morning, opened phone, saw shocking news. Goo group hit by hacker attack, confidential files leaked. My hands trembled. News said Goo group's internal servers hacked last night, massive secrets leaked online, stock plunged 15% pre-market. Definitely not coincidence. Miles came yesterday, today Goo group trouble. I called Ethan immediately, but no answer. Then, Linda hurried, Madam, guest arrived. Who? Miss Serena, Serena. I frowned. What does she want now? To the living room, saw Serena on sofa, smug smile. Miss Claire, good morning. She greeted elegantly. Miss Serena, what are you doing here? I asked directly. Of course to care about Ethan's situation. Serena hypocritically said, heard company big trouble, is he okay now? You're here to gloat? How could it be? Serena smiled brighter, with years of feelings with Ethan, how could I gloat? Her words had implication, I could tell. Serena, did you do it? I stared into her eyes. Me? Serena pretended surprise. Miss Claire, what do you mean? How could I do such? Besides you, who would strike group now? Maybe Miles? Serena said meaningfully, after all, he hates Ethan now. Her saying this made me more sure it's her. What do you want? I asked. What I want is simple. Serena stood, walked to me, leave Ethan. Impossible. Impossible? Serena sneered, Miss Claire, do you know how big the impact on group? Stock plunge, client trust crisis, orders cancelled. Ethan is overwhelmed, think he has energy for you? My heart sank. Moreover. Serena continued, how do you think Goo family sees this? Won't they think since Ethan married you, everything goes wrong? Words stabbed my heart. Indeed, since marrying Ethan, war with Miles, now this crisis. Would Goo elders think I brought bad luck? You're scaring me? I pretended calm. Just stating facts. Serena sat back, crossed legs, Miss Claire, leave now while possible. When bigger, you can't leave even if want. I won't leave. I said firmly. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. Serena's eyes cold, you know who posted those bad reviews about you online? I stared wide-eyed. It was me. She smiled smugly, and this is just the beginning. If you don't know better, I'll let the world know what kind of person you are. You. I trembled in anger. Don't be angry, bad for your skin. Serena stood elegantly, consider my suggestion well. 3 days, only 3 days. With that, she left. I collapsed on the sofa, mind chaotic. Situation worse than imagined. Serena not just wants Ethan back, she wants to destroy me completely. Do I have the ability to fight her? Phone rang, Sophie. Claire, saw the news? Her voice anxious. I opened news, saw trending, true face of Ethan's wife. Clicking in, full of dirt on me. Saying I married Ethan for money, scheming, even saying I'm Miles' spy to destroy group. These are fake. I said angrily. I know fake, but netizens don't. Sophie said, many cursing you online now, best not go out temporarily. Hung up, looking at vicious comments, tears flowed. What did I do wrong? Why endure this? Then, doorbell rang again. Wiped tears, opened door, unexpectedly Eleanor. Grandma? I surprised, why are you here? Eleanor saw my swollen eyes, face ugly. Claire, we need to talk. She entered living room, sat on sofa, expression serious. Grandma, here for company matter? I asked cautiously. Yes. Eleanor stared, Claire, I ask, is this event related to you? No. I denied immediately, Grandma, I absolutely didn't do anything to hurt Ethan. Eleanor looked at me, silent long. I believe you. She finally said, but Claire, you know how outside discusses you now? I nodded, tears about to fall. Grandma, Child, not here to blame you. Eleanor patted my hand, just worry you can't bear this pressure. I can. I said firmly, Grandma, I won't leave Ethan. Even if this brings him bigger trouble? Eleanor asked. This left me speechless. Indeed, my existence seems to bring Ethan many troubles. If I leave, perhaps these wouldn't happen. Grandma, do you think I should leave too? I asked holding tears. Eleanor looked at me, eyes complex. Claire, I only hope Ethan happy. If your existence makes him unhappy, then. She didn't finish, but I understood. Then, door pushed open, Ethan entered tiredly. Saw us together, stunned. Grandma? Why here? To see Claire. Eleanor stood, Ethan, house company? Handling. Ethan's voice tired, Grandma, no need worry. No worry? Eleanor frowned, stock fell so much, how not worry? Ethan silent. Ethan, I know you're tired, but some things must face. Eleanor glanced at me, about Claire's rumors, how will you handle? Ethan looked at me, saw swollen eyes, face darkened. Who bullied you? He came over, gently stroked my cheek. No one. I shook head, just saw online comments, feel bad. Ethan's face worse. Those comments fake, don't take to heart. But Grandma said. What did Grandma say? Ethan turned to Eleanor. I just suggested Claire avoid temporarily, wait till storm passes. Eleanor explained. No. Ethan refused flatly, Claire is my wife, she goes nowhere. Ethan. Eleanor raised voice, you want to destroy whole group for a woman? Grandma. Ethan angry too, Claire is my wife, not a woman. Watching grandparent-grandchild quarrel, my heart pained more. Did I bring Ethan such big trouble? Perhaps I should leave. I'll pack. I suddenly stood, interrupted quarrel. Both looked at me. Claire, where going? Ethan asked nervously. Stay at Mom's for a while. I tried calm, return after storm passes. No. Ethan grabbed my hand, you can't leave. Why not? I looked at him, Ethan, see the situation. Company trouble, online full of curses at me, even Grandma thinks I should leave. Staying will bring you bigger trouble. I don't care about troubles. Ethan said excitedly, Claire, you're my wife, your position no one can replace. But. No but. Ethan interrupted, I said, no matter what, you're my wife. This, no one can change. His words warmed me, but reason said leaving best now. Ethan, just temporary, not forever. I comforted, after things pass, I'll return. No. Ethan's eyes dangerous, Claire, if you dare leave, I'll what? I looked challengingly. Ethan looked, finally released hand. I won't force you stay. Voice cold, but think clear, if you leave, don't come back. Words stabbed my heart. Threatening me? Not threat, warning. Ethan turned, family door open only for spirited women. If you choose escape, never return. Said, he went upstairs without looking back. I stood, tears unstoppable. Claire. Eleanor came, patted shoulder, Ethan is this character, don't take to heart. Grandma, did I wrong? I choked. No right wrong, only choice. Eleanor looked stairs, Ethan stubborn since child, decided things unchangeable. Since chose you, he's sincere. But now. Child, remember, couple's most important share joy and sorrow. Eleanor said earnestly, if leave at his hardest time, really no way back. Wiped tears, looked seriously at Eleanor. Grandma, you mean? Mean if you really love him, stay, face difficulties together. Eleanor smiled, as for rumors, time will prove all. Hearing Eleanor, my confusion dissipated. Yes, can't leave now. No matter outside discussions, can't abandon Ethan to face alone. Grandma, thank you. I said gratefully, I figured it out. Good. Eleanor nodded satisfied, go coax Ethan, he's definitely angry now. I nodded, went upstairs to find Ethan. His room door locked, I knocked lightly. Ethan, can I come in? No response inside. Knocked again, still no. Ethan, I'm not leaving. I said against door, sorry, what I said earlier doesn't count. After a while, door opened. Ethan at door, face still ugly. Sure not leaving? He asked. Sure. I said firmly, no matter what, I'll stay by you. Ethan looked, ice and eyes melting. Claire, do you know? He stroked my cheek, when you said leave earlier, I almost went crazy. Sorry, made you worry. I held his hand, Ethan, face these difficulties together, okay? Okay. He nodded, then suddenly hugged me, Claire, thank you for staying. Feeling his warm embrace, security surged in my heart. Ethan, is company matter serious? I asked worried. Indeed troublesome, but solvable. Ethan's voice tired, I found hack source, investigating mastermind. Is it Serena? Ethan stunned, how no? She came today, almost admitted doing it. I told him today's events. After listening, Ethan's face very ugly. She dares threaten you? His voice full of anger. Ethan, don't be impulsive. I said worried, now most important solve company crisis, other later. No. Ethan's eyes dangerous, she hurt you, I won't let her go. Seeing his anger, I suddenly understood. He cares about me, really. Not because I'm his revenge tool on Miles, but really treats me as wife. Ethan. I held his face, calm down. Now Serena wants to anger you, make impulsive actions. If fall for it, she succeeds. Ethan looked at me, deep breath. You're right. He nodded, now most important stabilize company. Any plan? Tomorrow morning press conference, I'll clarify truth. Ethan said, also publicize our marriage, let rumors collapse. Publicize? I tense, won't bring bigger trouble? No. Ethan held my hand, Claire, you're my wife, nothing to hide. I want everyone know how much I love you. Hearing this, my heart beat fast. You, what did you say? Ethan stunned, realized. I said. He paused, looked into eyes, I said I love you. These 3 words echoed, world quieted. You, really love me? I asked unbelieving. Yes. Ethan nodded, don't know when started, perhaps seeing you bravely face at wedding, or enduring cyber violence to protect me. Anyway, I know I love you. Looking at his sincere eyes, tears flowed. I love you too. I said trembling, Ethan, I love you too. He excitedly hugged me tight. Claire, from today, start over, okay? He whispered in ear. Okay. I nodded, but this time, because of love. Because of love. He repeated, then kissed my lips. Kiss deep, as if transmitting all emotions. Parting, both breathless. Ethan, tomorrow's conference, I want to attend with you. Sure. He looked worried, now many discussions about you outside, appearing on camera may bear more pressure. Not afraid. I said firmly, since your wife, should face with you. Ethan looked, eyes moved. Okay, together. He nodded, Claire, with you, no difficulty unconquerable. I smiled, happiness from heart made me feel, no matter storms outside, together, fear nothing. Tomorrow's conference our counterattack start. And Serena should pay for her actions. Next morning, many reporters gathered below GU Group headquarters. Standing beside Ethan, looking at dense crowd below, heart beat fast. Nervous? Ethan held my hand. A bit. Truth, first time facing so many reporters. No matter, I'm here. Ethan comforted, remember, you're Mrs. Ethan, no one can bully you. I nodded, deep breath. Press conference in first floor multifunction hall. When we entered, flashes lit up. Ethan. What's truth of this hack attack? Ethan's wife. Are online rumors about you true? Your relationship with Mr. Miles. Various questions overwhelmed, I felt dizzy. Ethan held my hand to podium, signaled quiet. Thank media friends for coming. His voice through mic-filled venue, today, clarify 2 things. Scene quieted, all focused on him. First, about yesterday's hack. Ethan's voice calm, after tech investigation, found attack source. Not ordinary espionage, but deliberate malicious attack. Below stirred. We have evidence proving mastermind is Lynn Group's Miss Serena. What? Scene exploded. Reporters frantically shuddered, questions poured. I shocked at Ethan. He directly named Serena? Ethan, you say Miss Serena mastermind, any evidence? A reporter asked loudly. Ethan signaled assistant, who played recording. Serena with some man, clearly saying give Ethan a lesson, let him know consequence of offending me. Scene uproar. I shocked too. When did Ethan record this? Second thing. Ethan waited quiet, continued, about rumors on my wife Claire. He turned to me, eyes gentle. Claire is kindest, bravest woman I've seen. She did nothing to hurt anyone, her only mistake marrying me. Online malicious rumors about her, all deliberately fabricated lies. Ethan's voice stern, I've commissioned lawyers to sue rumormongers, no mercy. Reporters below discussed. Now, allow me formally introduce my wife. Ethan held my hand, Claire, my beloved. Looking at many eyes below, tense but courage surged. Hello everyone, I'm Claire. I took mic, glad to meet in such occasion. Miss Claire, you and Mr. Miles. About Mr. Miles, I say once. I interrupted, he and I completely over. Now, I have one identity, Mrs. Ethan. Then your marriage with Ethan. Our marriage real, based on love. I looked at Ethan, though start special, now we love each other, that's enough. Ethan gripped my hand, eyes proud. Conference lasted hour, basically clarified all rumors. Exiting venue, I felt much lighter. How feel? Ethan asked. Better than imagined. I smiled, but Serena sighed might. Before finishing, phone rang. Serena calling. Looked at Ethan, he nodded to answer. Serena. Claire. You too much. Serena roared angrily, you dare frame me. Frame? I sneered, recording your voice, video your people, called frame? Those edited. Serena hysterically shouted, wait, I won't let you go. Serena. Ethan took phone, voice icy, I warn you, if dare harass my wife again, you'll pay bigger price. Ethan. You'll regret. Serena threatened, I'll let you know how stupid losing me is. I'll never regret. Ethan said firmly, because having Claire enough. Said, hung up. She won't stop. I worried. Doesn't matter. Ethan hugged my shoulders, meet force with force. We not afraid. Back at company, assistant hurried to report. Ethan, press conference good effect. Stock rising, client's confidence recovering. Good. Ethan nodded, any movement from Serena? Reportedly Lynn Group held emergency board, Serena suspended all duties. I secretly relieved. Seemed she really hit iron plate this time. Then, office door pushed, Miles entered. Looked haggard, eyes complex. Miles, something? Ethan asked coldly. Want to talk? Miles said, about Serena. What's to talk? I puzzled. She approached me. Miles said, wants me join her against you. This surprised me and Ethan. Then? Ethan asked. I refused. Miles looked at me, Claire, though over, I won't hurt you. Complex emotions surged. Thank you. I said sincerely. No need. Miles' bitter smile, I wronged you. Claire, hope you're happy. Said, left. Watching back, suddenly felt this true end. Regret? Ethan asked. No. I firm, chose you, no regret. Ethan smiled satisfied, kissed my lips. Then, assistant hurried in. Ethan, bad. His face ugly, Serena posted video online, claims to release your intimate photos with her. What? We immediately opened computer, saw Serena's video. In video, she cried pitifully, claimed wronged, said Ethan abandoned old love for new, has past intimate photos, if not clarify, she'll release. Is she crazy? I angry. Seems we underestimated her shamelessness. Ethan's face very ugly, she wants mutual destruction. Those photos, real? I asked cautiously. Ethan looked, eyes apologetic. Some real, but all past. Claire, believe me, those over. Looking at sincere expression, heart hurt but chose believe. I believe. I said, but if photos released, big impact on your reputation. I don't care reputation. Ethan held hand, I only care you. But I care. I firm, Ethan, can't let you endure because of me. Claire. Let me handle. I stood, this time, let me protect you. Ethan looked, eyes moved and worried. How? I have way. I smiled mysteriously, trust me. Time to let Serena know Ethan's wife not easy to provoke. That night, I went alone to Serena's luxury apartment. Doorman knew me, after all now I'm famous, so easily let in. Rang doorbell, door opened soon. Serena saw me, first surprised, then smug smile. Yo, isn't this famous Mrs. Ethan? She sarcastically, what, begging me? Beg you? I sneered, Serena, you overestimate yourself. Is it? Serena let me in, then what are you here for? I scanned her apartment. Decorated luxuriously, name brands everywhere. Here to make a deal. I said directly. Deal? Serena interested, what deal? I leave Ethan, you delete photos, and publicly apologize. Serena stunned, then laughed. Ha ha ha, Claire, finally afraid? She smug, if no today, why before? Not afraid, just don't want Ethan hurt because of me. I calm. Then you're great. Serena sarcastic, but saying now not late? Ethan's heart only you, think if you leave, he'll return to me? That's his choice. I said, but at least, you can't threaten him with photos anymore. Serena looked, eyes calculating. Conditions negotiable, but you must promise never appear before Ethan again. Okay. I agreed without hesitation. Good, I'll have lawyer draft now. No need trouble. I interrupted, took phone, now I can call Ethan, tell him I'm leaving. Serena incredulous, sure? Of course. I dialed Ethan. Quickly connected. Claire? Where are you? I searched everywhere. Ethan's anxious voice. Ethan, I'm at Serena's. I said. What? What you doing there? Dangerous. Here to end with her. Looking at Serena's smug, Ethan, let's divorce. Other side instantly quiet. You, what? Ethan's voice trembled. I said, divorce. I repeated, thought clear, we're not suitable. No. Claire, you can't. Ethan almost roared, you said won't leave. People change. I tried cold voice, Ethan, our marriage mistake, correct now in time. Claire. What nonsense. Ethan's voice desperate, tell me, did Serena threaten? No one, my decision. I said, Ethan, don't make uglier, part amicably. I don't agree. Ethan firm, Claire, wait, coming now. Said, hung up. Serena clapped, wonderful. Really? But Claire, think I'll believe easily? What mean? I frowned. Think I don't know you're acting? Serena sneered, you love Ethan so, how really leave? Definitely some plot. Heart tightened, but composed, overthinking. Is it? Serena to me, dare sign divorce agreement? Now? She took prepared agreement from drawer. This prepared divorce agreement, sign and I'll believe sincere. Looking at agreement, heart fast. If sign, no turning back. What? Dare not? Serena sarcastic, seems can't part with Gu family wealth. I'll sign. I took pen, signed without hesitation. Serena wide-eyed, obviously not expecting. Believe now? I put down pen, said, my decision. Then, doorbell rang. Serena opened, Ethan rushed in. Looked anxious, eyes angry and desperate. Claire. Saw me, rushed grab hand, come home. Not going. I broke free, Ethan, over. No. Don't believe. Ethan looked, Claire, look in eyes, tell me, really don't love me? Looking at pain in eyes, heart-wrenched. But for him, must. Don't love. I tried calm, Ethan, this time made me realize, not suitable. Why? Ethan's voice trembling, yesterday you said love. Yesterday, today. I turned, dare not look eyes, feelings change. Don't believe. Ethan pulled me, forced look at him, Claire, your eyes say you still love me. His words almost broke me. But then, Serena timely, Ethan, look, this divorce agreement Claire signed earlier. She smugly took out, she's sincere to leave you. Ethan looked at agreement, face paled. Claire, you, really signed? I nodded, dare not look expression. Ethan stood, as if drained. Why? He murmured, why do this to me? Because don't love you. I held tears, Ethan, find someone who really loves you. Said, turned to door. Claire. Ethan shouted behind, if really want leave, go. But remember, from today, no relation. My steps paused, but still left without turning. Out of building, tears burst like dam. Ethan, sorry. For you, must. But unexpected, at street corner, black car stopped. Window down, familiar face. Sophie. Claire, get in. She said. Stunned, but got in. Sophie, why here? Ethan called. Sophie drove said if you really left, follow you, protect safety. He, still cares? I couldn't help ask. Nonsense, of course. Sophie exasperated, Claire, what are you doing? Really divorcing Ethan? Looking at night view outside, no answer. Claire. Sophie raised voice, you don't really not love him? I love him. I finally, because love, I leave. What mean? I told Sophie about Serena's threat. So sacrifice yourself? Sophie angry, Claire, too silly. Doing this, Ethan hate you lifetime. Hate then. I bid her smile, as long as he's fine, enough. Sophie looked, shook head. You two fools. She said, one willing sacrifice all for other, one knows lying but pretends believe. What mean? I puzzled. Claire, think Ethan can't see you're lying? Sophie looked, he's waiting for you to turn back voluntarily. Impossible. I denied, he was angry. That's because he pities you. Sophie helpless, he pities you enduring pain to protect him. I stunned. Moreover. Sophie continued, think Ethan type threatened by photos? He had countermeasures early, just didn't want you worry. What? You mean? You moved by own greatness, but no need. Sophie stopped car, Claire, turning back in time. Ethan definitely home drinking sullenly, go find, explain clear. Looking at Guvilla direction, strong impulse surged. Perhaps Sophie right. Perhaps believe Ethan can solve all. Perhaps return to him, face together. Sophie, take me home. I firm. That's right. Sophie smiled, go, find your husband. Car turned, toward Guvilla. Anyway, I want to be with him. Because I love him. And love should share joy sorrow, not bear alone. Pushing home door, saw Ethan in living room, whiskey bottle in front, half drunk. Saw me, stunned, then bitter smile. Why back? His voice drunk, didn't decide leave? Ethan, let's talk. I went, sat beside. Nothing to talk. He drank more, you signed divorce, tomorrow lawyer handle. If I say earlier acting? Ethan's hand stopped mid-air, glass trembling. What mean? I told him plan, including worries and Sophie's words. After listening, Ethan put down glass, pulled me into embrace. Fool. He whispered in ear, think few photos can threaten me? Those photos. All synthesized. Ethan said, I dated Serena, but never such photos. She wants mutual destruction, but didn't expect I prepared early. Shocked looking at him, you knew early? Of course. Ethan smiled, my wife willing endure pain to protect me, how couldn't I see? Why not stop? Because want see how much my wife loves me. Ethan looked deep, now no, she loves me more than herself. Tears flowed again, but happy. Ethan, never leave you again. I won't let you. He kissed lips, Claire, start anew, this time, no one separate us. Next day, news reported Serena sued for spreading false info. Also, Ethan publicized our reconciliation, announced grand wedding in month. This wedding, he hugged saying, no accidents. I smiled, happiness from heart made me feel nothing in world to fear. Because I have husband who truly loves, protects me. And I will love him with all. This our story, about no-shows, revenge, then true love. Though start unexpected, end perfect. Because true love always triumphs all. Year later, our daughter born. Ethan holding her, face gentle smile. She looks like you. He said. But eyes like you. I said. Good, inherited mom's beauty and dad's wisdom. We smiled at each other. Outside window sunny, I know our story continues. And more wonderful. Because we're love, infinite possibilities.